Now we're on.
Okay. Third time.
Okay.
Emma, I want to thank you very much for joining us today.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, we're doing a series of oral histories, people giving their life stories of themselves and their families in the Smoky Valley.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a continuation of a series that started back in the early 1980s.
Hmm.
And we hadn't had any oral histories recorded for about 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided it was high time to start doing it again. And I think you're going to be our 17th.
Oh, my.
So you are Emma Palmquist Sundgren.
That's right. Sundberg.
Sundberg, I'm sorry.
Sundberg, not
Sundberg, well, okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what's really...
Sundberg.
I know. I knew that, and
Yeah.
because I went to school with your daughter.
I know you did.
And with your nephew, Gary.
That's right.
So, my name is Chris Abercrombie, and today is the 24th of October, the year 2006, which is a Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
We're at the Sundberg Farm out here west of Lindsborg, which is probably one of the prettiest views in the entire valley.
Thank you. I think so. That's why I'm still out here.
We'll go out and shoot some pictures of it a little bit later. With us today is Jay Richardson, who is manning the camera and taking care of the technical aspects for us. And Emma, first of all, you were born in the Smoky Valley, were you not?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And tell us where you were born, and you don't have to give us an exact year, but about what period of time.
Well, I can tell you I was born on a farm, but and it's south of here. I don't know if the house is still there or not. I don't really know that. But August the 20th, 1922.
1922.
Mm-hmm.
And that was out in kind of the Fremont community then?
In the Fremont community, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know which township that might be. I doubt it'd be Harper, but I don't really know that.
And I know there's other Palmquists still in that area.
Well, this is, and I don't even know the name of the road either where Larry and the Dahlsteins live on, but it was in that area.
Right.
In that area, yeah.
The Amos Dahlstein farm in that area?
Yeah,
then,
yeah, that's further west then.
Right,
so,
okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you attend Church at Fremont?
Fremont.
Then? Fremont Lutheran?
Fremont Church. Sunday school, and confirmed there, and Melvin and I were not married in the church. We were married in my folks' home. And they lived south of Marquette at that time. And we were married on August the 9th, 1941.
1941.
Mm-hmm. Just before Pearl Harbor.
Before the day that shall live in infamy.
Yeah, I guess.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
according to FDR at the time.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Where did you attend school then?
I attended, we lived south of Marquette. North of Marquette for a while, so I went to first grade and part of second grade in Marquette School. And then we moved to where we call it the Grandpa's Place, like that, and finished the second grade in March, and then went the third grade there. And then Harper School had enough pupils so we could go there. Otherwise, they were shut down, Harper School, that's in Harper Township. And so then I graduated from Harper School, 8th grade. And then I went to high school in Lindsborg.
In Lindsborg?
Lindsborg,
And Harper School then was later incorporated into Riverview, or the Riverside School, is that right?
No, Harper is, I don't know how to tell you. Do you know where Laurel Sundgren might have lived in those days? Or
No.
I can't tell you exactly. I don't know how many miles.
Now I remember when I was in high school, Steve Palmquist, who would have been Charles Palmquist's son.
Yeah, but that's just right over here, just south of 4. We're 1, 2, 3, at least 3 miles, 4 miles maybe.
Further south.
of 4, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe even more. I don't remember.
I was going to say they had an old schoolhouse out on their property.
Yeah, they did.
So,
But,
they
had that was the Fremont School that they had,
Okay.
and I'm talking about Harper
right,
School.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now then, how and when did you meet Melvin?
It's a long story. I stayed with Mrs. Tom Swensson, and her house was where, I think her name is Anita, I'm not sure, Swensson, that lives there now, at the corner of McPherson and Main,
okay,
that big
sure.
white house.
That's Johanna Swensson.
Johanna, okay, it's Johanna. She lives there. Mrs. Tom Swensson lived there. And her sons knew my folks. And so they called and asked if they thought I would be willing to be a companion to her while I attended high school. And of course I did. I was working I worked with Mrs. Elmer Danielson while Elmer was in Tanzania as a missionary and helped her take care of the children because I needed to have an education. And so, of course, that's where I went. Anyhow, in the evenings, Arlene Lilia worked at the Runbeck house, and she'd come down and meet me at Mrs. Swensson's house, and we'd go downtown to Olson's Cafe.
You want to get the phone? You want to answer the phone? We were discussing your experience in high school in Lindsborg, and I take it you were living in town rather than going
That's
back
right.
and forth from town to the farm.
That's
every day.
right. I stayed with Aunt Alma my freshman year, and then Aunt Alma Johnson.
Johnson.
She was the sister of my dad,
Okay.
and I stayed there. And then Mrs. Danielson needed some help with her 6 children when Elmer was over in Africa as a missionary. So I stayed with her and helped her with the children. And then this became available to stay with Mrs. Tom Swensson. And just to be a companion, help her. And I went to school, did everything that I wanted to do. But anyhow, Arlene Lilia would, it was Crable when she died, Arlene Lilia Crable. She would come by, pick me up, and we'd walk downtown to Olson's Cafe.
Oh.
And this particular time, Arlene wasn't with me, but Lila Sundine Gum was. And so I said, I was sitting there, and here come this fella in the door, and I said, boy, is he good looking, like that. And Lila just grinned, and that fella came in and sat down by her.
Oh.
And they were relation.
Aha.
And Melvin had been in all Colorado working on the beet farm with his uncle, Carl Malmstrom.
So he was out of high school by then? He was out of high
Melvin
school.
was.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
yeah. And working on the beet farm. And he'd come back because his Uncle Henry Sundberg had passed away, and he came back for that service. And so, and they were related, Lila and Melvin. And so then he took us home, he took me home, and then he took Lila home.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't too long, and I had a phone call, and that's how we met. And he goes on to say, well, it was probably because of he was working for David Train at the elevator to clean out the pit, and he was going to get the rats and stuff, out of that, and he stepped on a nail. So his mother said, you need to go and have that cleaned out. And he said he had, but he did go. So when he came into Olson's Cafe, he was hobbling. Because they did wrap up his
foot. Mm-hmm.
And so he told people it was because of the rat that I met him.
So you got married in 1941, and just before the war.
Yeah.
And you also had a daughter then not too long after that.
In August of 42.
42, right.
In August of 42, Nancy was born.
And had Melvin joined the service by then? Or
No,
was he?
No. But he did come home, and he said, that's during the drafting days. And he did come home because he worked at the co-op. And he said, I think I'm going to go up and enlist, and I don't want the Army. I want the Navy.
Uh-huh.
And I said, and with that tiny baby there, this was like in last of October, I don't remember exactly, or like November maybe. And he said, well, I don't want to get drafted, and I know my number's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what he did. And he was enlisted then in, I think, in the latter part of October of 42.
42, okay.
Of 42. Mm-hmm.
Did he serve on the Atlantic side or the Pacific side?
He had good duty because he was an instrument man, so they sent him to. Well, he had his boot training in Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
and then he sent him to Memphis, and that's on for instrument people. Then they sent him to Barber's Point in Hawaii.
Oh.
And
mm-hmm.
he was there then for 19 months, and then he came back here. Then they sent him back to Chicago, and then we went to California for his discharge. He was in 3 years. We came home in November of 45.
Okay.
So that's 3 years then.
And then you came out and settled on the farm?
He was going to go back to Bethany. He already had a year in at Bethany.
Uh-huh.
On the
From the GI Bill.
GI Bill.
Mm-hmm.
You can't knock that.
Oh, no.
But his folks said, we have found a house in town and we want you to live here. I kind of did like that, and he said, we need to talk about it. And so we did, and he said, well, what do you think? And I said, well, what do you think? And he said, well, it might be okay. But he didn't go back to college. So now this November, I will have lived here 61 years.
Oh, my. Okay.
Because we got here in November of 1945.
Now, is this the original Sundberg farm?
His grandpa, A.D. Sundberg, built the farm, the house, in 1887, and his dad was born here in March of 1888.
Okay.
And then the Malmstroms lived just north here. That was his wife, Elida Malmstrom.
Uh-huh.
And they went together, and when they got married, well, then Grandma and Grandpa moved across the road where Leroy and Doris lived, where you were. And then, so Pop and Mom Sundberg just continued to live here. All 5 of their sons were born here, and so it's just been basically us.
Sure. And the farm is still active?
Oh, yeah.
And you have people come in and help you run the farm?
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. I can't do it. Melvin died in June of 1998. So.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So that's 8 years ago now, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Time flies by, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Well, as far as your own family is concerned, I understand that there was a house that was being demolished, and they found something interesting in the house. And that something interesting is now on display down at the Old Mill Museum.
That's right.
And I think you might have a picture of it there. If you want to hold that up and let Jay take a picture of the picture. Just kind of hold it up like this. There you go.
I don't know if you can see it.
And that's the log cabin.
Mm-hmm.
There was, what I understand, it was actually, the house was built around the log cabin.
This was our dining room.
Okay.
That was our dining room. And then to the west of this was the kitchen, a lean-to kind of like, And then there was a little hallway.
Thank you.
Continue to hold it.
No, I think we're fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then there was there was a porch to the east of the dining room. Then there was a little hallway. In the hallway there was a door that led you upstairs. They had even made an upstairs there.
Oh, okay.
And then there was 2 rooms on the down floor, and then that was 1 bedroom and then a living room.
So that's one reason why the log cabin is so well preserved, is because it was protected from the elements.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So
I didn't know it was a log cabin when we lived there. My dad said he did, but he never told us that.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know it until Norman Mom had said that you can't tear that down.
No.
Norman's the one that saved this log cabin. And they brought it to McPherson. McPherson decided they didn't want it, and that's when it came down to Lindsborg.
Did they move it in whole, or did they move it piece by piece? Do you?
Oh, I would think they had to move. I don't know.
Okay.
I would think they had to put it on skids
And
and
the whole
move it
thing.
because it's only cottonwood that it's made out of.
Uh-huh.
And, that's not not the best in the world.
Sure.
And so it's just, Dally Nelson is another cousin that could have been here, but he wasn't. But anyhow, I did not know that Don Helene, after we moved off the farm, Grandpa did not own the farm. It was a Henry Olson farm. And one of his sons wanted to come home and farm. And so after Grandma Palmquist died, then Grandpa went to live with his daughter, Mrs. Eben Olson. And that's when the place became available, so they thought we should move there, which we did. And I didn't know when we left, because the son wanted to farm it, we had to find another place to live. And that's when the folks moved south of Marquette. But he never did do that. He never came back and farmed. So Don Helene, Don's dad had died, and so his mother taught at Harper then. And then they lived there.
Well, they lived in the same house.
Yeah, so I was surprised when Don was there, and I said, Don, I didn't know you lived there after we moved off.
And that recently you've done some restoration work on it.
That's when relatives have got some money, and they put a roof on here.
Built a shelter around it.
It kind of takes away from the cabin part, but it's to preserve it. And and it looks nice. And we're working on some other things, maybe signage or something to
identify who had lived there.
Yeah.
We need to get back to you and Melvin, and we're looking at after World War II, and you had moved out to the farm. And then along about 1949, you have an addition to the family.
That's right.
And her name is Leanne. Okay, your second daughter.
7 years, almost to the day. Nancy's birthday is August the 16th, and Leanne arrived August the 11th.
Okay.
You know, almost 7 years difference in their ages.
So you could almost have dual birthday parties.
Well, we have more than that, because we were married on the 9th.
Oh, well.
And my birthday's the 20th.
Oh, okay.
So August was a big month for us here. Belvin's was December 1. But we always had birthday parties out here. And it got to be quite a bit. But that's nice for a neighborhood. We always got together.
Oh, sure.
Finally, we did raise some chickens, and Melvin said, why don't I just dress some chickens and then have a potluck out here and just have it one time to celebrate anniversary and birthdays. I said, I'm not going to fry that many chickens, but I will fix sloppy joes.
Oh, sure.
And we started that, and, I don't know how many years we did that, but we did it a good number of years, and the last time we did it was in 97.
Okay.
And I said to the girls, I don't think I can do it this year, because Melvin just died in June.
Sure.
He said, no, we had the big finale. We got tables from the church, 60, 70 people out of here in the yard. But just potluck. We had the sloppy joes and tea and coffee and water and watermelon.
Right.
And they just brought a dish, and we had so much fun. We did that every year.
Now, your daughters both went through the Lindsborg school system.
That's right.
And I know Leanne attended Bethany College for a while.
1 year.
Okay, and Nancy, did she go to Bethany?
Nancy finished a whole year.
Okay.
Well, Leanne just went one semester.
Mm-hmm.
Then she and Marv got married in January. And he was already in St. Louis with the insurance company. And so then when they got married, she went to school to Fontbonne. It was a Catholic school, but it had a good music program. And she finished there then. Okay. But Nancy went one full year and to Bethany College.
And she married Mike McCullough.
Mike McCullough.
Okay. And they had how many children?
3 children.
3 children? And Marv, you mentioned a bit ago, Marv Anderson, who is an offspring of Dave Anderson, and related to Don and John and Jeanette.
They're brothers and a sister.
He's the younger brother of the siblings. And both of your daughters continue to live here in Lindsborg now.
That's right, yeah. Marv and Leanne lived in Missouri for 7 years, and they moved back here.
And Leanne is with the public schools. She's the vocal music teacher, correct?
That's right. Middle school and high school.
High
now.
school. And Nancy works for an insurance agency.
Smoky Valley Insurance.
She's an agent.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Now tell me about your grandkids then and great-grandkids.
They're wonderful.
Okay.
I don't know what else I can say about them. Yeah, I said, I think we pay a lot of attention to our grandkids. Maybe we have more time. I don't know how that is, but they've all done very, very well. And Mary Louise did go to Hayes. Just about a year, I think. But Julie, that's Nancy's children I'm talking about now. Julie graduated from Hayes, and she has a master's in science. And she works in Salina then. And then Ty did not attend, but he was in the service. And he enlisted in the service. And so he was gone, and when he came back, he works for Corky Mom, and he has ever since. So, and that's okay too. And David and Joe both went to Harvard. Well, David went 2 years to Bethany College, and then he went to Harvard. And when Joe went from high school, and he went to Harvard, and they both graduated from Harvard.
That had to be a thrill, knowing that your grandsons were headed to Harvard.
That's right.
Not everybody makes it into Harvard.
That's right. I know it.
Well, that's tremendous.
I went to both graduations. When Joe graduated, we didn't have Melvin then, but I went with the kids for that. Yeah, you bet it's a thrill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, then great-grandkids.
Yeah. Nancy's oldest daughter, Mary Louise, has 3 children.
Okay.
And all 3 of them are in high school this year.
Oh.
Brianna's a freshman, and Megan a junior, and Tyler is a senior.
Okay.
And David's 2 children is Rand and Rowan, and they live, well, it's Joplin, Missouri. It's not really Joplin, but it's right there.
Down in that immediate area, sure.
And same with Joe now. Joe doesn't, and Barbara don't have any children, but they live in Scranton.
All right. Now,
don't forget too. Now, in 1993. Melvin and I were king and queen for Healings
For the Healings Fest, for the 1993 Healings Fest.
Sure did, we were.
And that is also quite an honor, because I know that there are a lot of nominations.
Oh, I couldn't believe it. I said, I think I'm going to cry when they came out and told us, and that's just exactly what I did.
Sure. Well, you're not the first Healings Fest queen we have visited with.
Is that right?
So that it is indeed quite an honor, and for the community to bestow that on you. And of course, that is a tradition that comes all the way down from the very first Healings Fest.
I know it.
Which was in 1941.
That's right.
But I was going to say that there are 2, outside of your family, 2 other aspects of your life that are very important to you, and those are your Swedish heritage, which I know you have shared with your daughters, and I know Leanne much better than I know Nancy, but I know Leanne is very involved with her Swedish heritage, and also your church, which is Bethany Lutheran Church.
That's right.
Why don't you tell us about your feelings about preserving the Swedish heritage here in the Smoky Valley?
That's exactly what needs to be done, and I hope it continues to do that way. We have people that come here and visit, even the Swedes that come here. If you've heard them say, I think you're more Swedish than we are. I don't know about that, because Melvin and I, in '94, we went with his cousin and his wife to Sweden. Well, we landed in Norway, and then we rented a car, and we just drove a car for 3 weeks.
Oh, my.
Yeah. Bob and Ada Helene and Melvin and I, and in Norway, and then came on down to Sweden and left from Copenhagen in Denmark. Yeah, we had a great time.
That's the way to really see a country.
We had a real good time. When we were planning it, I said, what are we going to do for 3 weeks? And we should have had much longer, because we lingered longer in different places. But that's the idea. We hadn't done our homework before we went. a lot. They did get to see a cousin of theirs.
I was going to ask if you or Melvin have any direct
I
relatives.
do. I suppose I do, but I hadn't done my homework on that either. And that was the same way with Melvin, but Bob Helene had, so they did find a Malmstrom over there. And we got to visit with him and Yanni.
That has to be exciting, too, to be able to trace your roots.
And he was having a hard time because he only spoke Swedish. And Bob and Melvin were poor at Swedish, but now the children have to take English. And so his 3 daughters were there that evening, and they helped Daddy out.
Sure. Now, you're involved in Swedish cooking, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And you mentioned your holiday traditions, Thanksgiving and Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And one of those is what Leanne hosts, which is, say that again.
Dappergryta.
Right, which is the noon meal on Christmas Eve.
Noon.
Christmas Eve noon.
Christmas Eve noon, yeah.
And it was originally, help me out here, it involves pork and beef that's boiled, is that correct? And a broth is made, and then bread is left out. And the idea was that people were so busy getting ready for Christmas that they could only kind of eat on the run. Isn't that correct?
So they dip in the kettle is what it is. We don't do it that way, however, but we do put the bread on a plate and go by this. She keeps it on the stove, Leanne does.
Sure.
You know, pour the broth over that. When we got married, the Sundbergs never had that. And so Mother started cooking a potato for Melvin. And so Leanne does cook a few potatoes. But I think, if I'm saying this right, Leanne still doesn't like soggy bread.
Which, of course, is exactly what duff is
well, it gets that way immediately because your broth is hot. We used white bread, and the Shoegreens always used, or the Andersons always used rye bread.
Our family tradition is both.
Well,
both types of bread.
Yeah.
So,
but now it's gotten bigger. There's a relish plate, and here comes somebody in with a cheese plate. And here comes somebody in with some other lots of candies, you know, that kind of a thing. And
well, now tell me about your involvement with Bethany Lutheran Church. I know you're very active in many organizations in the church and doing volunteer work. Today, this very day, you were helping put the newsletter out.
That's right.
Tell me about, first of all, were you told me your early years you were a member of Fremont.
That's right, yeah.
Did you join Bethany when you married Melvin?
That's right. When we got married, when we lived here, we didn't live here right away then, but after we got out of the Navy, we did. And so then I just withdrew my membership and we went to Bethany Church, because that was Melvin's church. In fact, O.L. Larson was our pastor, and he was gone at the time we were married. We were married in my folks' home. So then we had Alfred Virgin. That was Melvin's pastor to marry us.
Well, that's impressive. He came in right after Dr. Swensson died and was the longtime minister at Bethany Lutheran Church. And so Virgin,
I want to say 38 years, but I do have a piece of paper out there that was in our beacon today, and I'll let you see it later on. But
they say Virgin is the reason Messiah Church exists, because he wasn't about to preach his sermons in English. And that's what the people of Messiah wanted, is English church services, so they formed their own church down the block.
I don't know the history of all of that, but I know Bethany Church had 2 services, the English and the Swedish.
Okay, I think in 1928 is when they started that.
Or maybe so.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And so, again, that's quite an honor to have been married by Virgin.
Oh, yeah.
A man who created so much history and recorded so much history about Lindsborg and the Smoky Valley. I think he had 2 volumes that he wrote that have been translated into English.
Yeah.
And
in fact, my sister Bonnie married John Engberg, who was an adopted son of Ruth Bilt.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, Ruth Virgin built.
And she did the translation of the book.
She and Betty,
Or the books, right? She and Betty Jadaborn, who is another person we have interviewed.
Yeah.
So, well, Emma, tell me about your involvement with the church. What do you do? What organizations are you a member of? And
well, I was on the church board several years ago, so I have served my time on the church board. And I did, a long time ago, teach Sunday school. And when I worked at Bethany College for 10 years, and those little kids came up to enroll, I thought, now it's a change now. It should be a change for a new teacher. So then I kind of quit then. And right now I belong to the Miriam Circle, and we meet the fourth Thursday of every month in the evening. And I joined that when we had our circles because I was working and I couldn't go to the day circles or the morning circles.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
I worked at the college for 10 years, 57 to 67. And
what did you do for the college?
I was in the business office, accounts payable.
Okay.
Then I went to the district USD 400 and worked there until 84, so which was another 17 years. And then I retired at 62, so I worked out of the house for 27 years.
So basically about the time you got Leanne into school and into grade school,
that's right. Oh, yeah.
You went ahead and went back to work then.
After Leanne was 7 years old. And then I went back to work, and see, Nancy was 14 by that
right,
time. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what other organizations in the church?
Every Sunday morning, I'm one of them that goes down at church shortly after 8, and daughter Nancy and Liz Johnson, we cook coffee for Fellowship Coffee, and they serve that at 10 o'clock after Sunday school. Serve it at 10, and then service begins at 10:30. And we have a lot of them there. I always make sure there's cookies there and coffee.
Sure.
And they'll come and say, I put something in the freezer for you to use next Sunday.
Nice, sure.
So we always have nice things.
And that way the preacher knows everybody's going to be wide awake for his sermon, right?
Yeah. And he comes down there and gets his cup of coffee too in between times. And then they have adult Sunday school and then the service. We have an 8 o'clock service and a 10:30 service.
Okay. And right now you are without a full-time minister.
That's right.
Can you look back, and this might be a loaded question, look back over the years and the ministers who have served Bethany Lutheran Church, and do you have a particular favorite? Somebody you like the best?
No, because there's good qualities in every single one of them. Every single one. And I just would not ever say, oh, he was the best. I just couldn't do that.
Not being a Bethany Church person, but a Messiah Church person, as I look back over the years, Anton Nelson always impressed me.
He married both the girls, both Nancy and Leanne. And when Nancy and Mike got married, it was so hot. It was so hot that they got married July 18th.
And probably before the days of the air conditioning
well, sure it was.
in the church.
Yeah.
Right.
I was worried about the candles, and Melvin was wearing a suit, of course, and perspiration.
Oh, yeah.
It was funny. When Marvin and Leanne got married, they got married at January the 7th, and we had a real cold spell, and when rehearsal, it was 8 below, but it warmed up 3 degrees, so it was 5 below the night that they got married.
Oh, my.
So, see, there was 2 extremes right there. Terribly hot. I don't know what the temperature was in July. When Nancy and Mike got married, but it was terribly hot.
Oh, yeah, it would be miserable.
Yeah, it was. It was just terrible. And but then we work. I belong to. We call ourselves the Peace Artists, and we meet once a month and make quilts for Lutheran World Relief. And I did not get the whole total, but it seemed to me like they said it was almost 140 quilts this year.
Oh my!
It'll keep a lot of people warm. Somebody cuts it out, the pieces out, and lays them together. I'm one of the ones that sit at the machine and sew the strips and make the top, and then it goes back to another. They put the something inside and the backings on. And then somebody else sews around there, and then it goes to a table where they tie them.
Sure.
So it's all those steps. And there's just a list now of how many pounds they brought up then a week ago Thursday. They bring it to Salina, and there's a truck there that they load it in. And it's a lot.
Oh, yeah. Another organization that you've been very active in Melbourne was, before his death, is the American Legion.
That's right.
And you're a member of the American Legion Auxiliary.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you bet.
Of long standing.
Of long standing.
Did you become active in that right after Melbourne got back from the service? No?
Not right after, but shortly, because both the girls were in junior auxiliary.
Okay.
But when they got older, and they have not joined the auxiliary, they should do that. I mean, they could, but they haven't done it.
Sure.
And yeah, it's that. Oh yeah. Welka, that's afternoon. That's the first Thursday of every month at church for the ladies. And that's besides your circles.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And we're a smaller group now than we were, but I hope that we can continue. Because there's people that come in the afternoon that don't want to belong to a circle, too. So, it's hard. It's hard to keep going. We're not getting any younger.
Well, Emma, you seem to have found the secret.
I don't know about that, but we're just not getting any younger, and you just want to keep doing that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you what, thank you very much for your time. I would like for Jay to maybe get the camera off of there. I know there's some pictures on the wall over here of family members.
That's right.
And let me stand up here.
Rolling.
Okay, Emma, we're looking at a picture here that looks like the entire family, at least at one point in time. What was the occasion?
That was our 50th wedding anniversary.
And what year would have that been?
Well, it'd been in 91 then, wouldn't it?
91, okay.
Wouldn't it?
I guess so.
August 9th, 1991, because we were married in 41, so...
And then there's a picture right above that one that is of your two daughters.
That's right. They surprised us, and that was our birthday present that year.
Ah.
And I don't remember what year it was, but that was our our Christmas present.
Sure. And then above that is a picture of you and Melvin as the king and queen of Hillingsfest.
And that was in October of 93.
93.
1993.
And there are a variety of other pictures of you as the king and queen.
Now, the very bottom picture down there was very, very bottom.
The gift of yours?
Yes, and I can't tell you who it was that came out here, but it was Herb Johnson that had something to do with it, Pastor Herb Johnson.
Oh.
And we were up in the field, and they came up there and took pictures of Melvin and I, and then they came down here to the house and sat for a while. And there's a nice, it's a nice thing there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Well, very good. And you also have some paintings.
Now, those are Margaret Greenos.
Okay. Well, is there any that is, are these?
Well, here's the log cabin, and that was a Christmas present from...
Let's go ahead and go handheld. Just, you can hold it steady enough to get up. I'll just do a still shot out of it. And unplug the microphone and everything. And the headphones. Just, take it. This is, and we'll still be able to hear us because there's a built-in microphone there. Wait till Jay's ready.
Which one?
Both of them. You said these paintings are rolling?
Yep.
You said these paintings are by Margaret Sonsane.
Same.
And are those representative of your land out here?
I don't know what they are.
All right.
I think the one up there looks like it could be from the Heights, but it was just gifts to us.
And then over here, if you don't mind, I'll go ahead.
Just do it. Yeah, thank you.
This is the log cabin that was part of your house that you lived in.
That's right. Lucille Runbeck.
Oh, yeah.
Was
The artist. And I see some Sansains. And also over here, Bethany Church. It's a nice Christmas scene of the church. Now, who did this one?
That's Melita Forsberg.
Melita Forsberg, okay. That's beautiful. Have you,
Then over here, there's
Okay.
3 pictures that were taken from up on the hill as you pass our mailbox.
Sure, I can see that.
Yeah, and it's Carl Peterson and Jacobson. Can't think of his given name now. And Signe Larson.
Okay. Well, as I said, I think this is one of the most beautiful areas of the entire valley.
Yeah. And of course, that's a same picture there. The middle one.
Sure.
Julie, my granddaughter, loves to do artwork, and so this is a picture at this little bridge that you cross now. And
She
I
did
don't
that?
remember who it was that laid that many years
Yeah.
ago. So she went on the other side and painted that.
That's very nice. Well, thank you again, Emma. I think
And all of these over here, that's Charlie Rogers' pictures,
Oh,
those
yes.
3.
Right.
But they need to be straightened up.
Did you buy
too.
those through Edna Peterson?
No, but she sure wanted to sell me a lot.
Oh, I bet she did.
But Melvin and Charlie were really
Oh, okay.
nice friends, good friends. And we were up there at I've taken her down and had her neutered, and then I kind of babied her a little bit. She is maybe.